Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Azureish After Dark. Sorry, we're running a couple of minutes late. I had a small technical issue to start with, which meant that I couldn't actually connect to the internet briefly. But welcome once again to John Lunn.
Hey Liam, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Good, thank you. It has been a hectic start to the week, and it is only Wednesday.
Do you know, I was just thinking the same thing. Can't believe it's Thursday tomorrow. Where does it
Yeah,
go? Where does time
yeah.
go?
Christmas in December in just over a week as well, isn't it?
Don't even joke about that. I got
Okay.
another arm saying that I need to buy presents and all that sort of stuff. I don't know what that's all about.
I managed to get some done like earlier this week when I remembered because I got my daughter to write me a letter to Santa this weekend, and
Okay,
I've just
yeah,
gone right. Okay, well I'll get those things down while I remember. Um, I mean, there's a couple of things on there. I'm like, well, maybe you're not having that this time. So we have a Dalmatian dog, and she wants another one of those. I'm like, no,
okay, yeah, fair
no.
enough. You know, why not? 101 of them, eh?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
I might live in the countryside, but I've only got a little house, so it's not going to work.
yeah. My kids' list consists of iPad Pro, Nike Air Max. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Okay, let's start off small.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm going to move it into the office at some point when I finish redoing in here.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know
I'll
those.
look over that way to see you. So I'll have to put this. Yeah,
But
cool.
you know those sort of the pet pictures you get where they've got like they're in like an old timey admiral's uniform and that sort of thing.
I know, yeah, like
Um,
the smoking bulldog and all
Yeah,
that.
somebody bought me one of those of a cat that we've got for Christmas last year, and I'm going to put it in here. But my daughter wants one of those of So we've got two cats and a dog,
Yeah,
and our other cat that's hers. She wants one of her like as Queen Elizabeth, so she can put it up in her room.
Queen
So
Elizabeth playing snooker or pool, eh?
yeah,
Smoking a cigar.
yeah, exactly. So like I say, thank you for coming on, Derek. Not
Eric.
Derek. John, sorry. It's been a big
Eric,
week with like I've spent a lot of time with Derek this week.
yeah. No, I
Um,
noticed. Yeah, I noticed. That's pretty cool. Teaming up for the
yeah,
new year.
yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Well, our sort of plan is to take the Azurish Live Twitch channel and turn it into an actual like linear channel of sorts.
Okay,
So we have shows every day at certain times and stuff like that, like 30-minute, 60-minute type shows,
okay.
and have that run and that kind of thing. It might not work, but we're going to give it a go.
Well, you got to have
Uh,
a go. Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah. What? Just
yeah.
doing techie stuff
Yeah,
on
yeah,
demand.
all like Microsoft Tech type things, So we've got like our Azure-ish live show anyway, which we do every other Tuesday. So the next one of those is next week, where Jonathan, Pete, and I are building stuff or attempting to
Is
poorly.
that your Blazer project? I did see you having
Yes,
a go. How's that
yeah.
going? You haven't done
Uh,
part two yet, then?
we've not done part two yet, but we worked out what the problem was, and I managed to fix it on my machine at least. Um, and then we've got this show, and then going into next year, we'll have on Monday nights Derek's show, and then we're really going to look at other shows we can kind of build into the channel as well, and try and have something running every night of the week, or and maybe even into the days, or not quite like 24-hour service because that would be ridiculous, but shows up and down the sort of the spectrum of Microsoft DevOps and that kind of thing, in Azure particularly, that we can run every
Well,
day.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of takers of that sort of stuff. I think
Yeah, hope fingers crossed. Yeah, yeah.
I'll get the word out there. Cool. Sounds good to me.
But yeah, John, we've got you on this evening.
Yes,
Partly
yeah.
to play video games shortly. We've got a little timer at the bottom of the screen now. So in about 15 or so minutes, we'll be playing Among Us.
Cool.
But
You
we've
can,
been talking a little bit recently. Say again, sorry.
I'm going to say you can see if I can die first again because that's the
It's not a
thing.
timer to see how long you live.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Go on, sorry, Liam. Yeah.
But yeah, so we got you on because you and I we've talked a little bit recently because next month this month even, but next week you'll be speaking at DevOps Notts on
Cool.
Tuesday evening.
Indeed.
But the topic in question is around the Microsoft Cloud Adoption Framework. So I don't know if you want to tell the folks at home a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'll probably put it into a little bit of context. It might help as well. So I think in my job, so I'm a technical architect, and my job, to try and boil it down, is around about going out and speaking with customers that are on various levels of their cloud journey. So some may be really mature and doing some great stuff with the cloud. Others may not have a clue. They literally don't have a team of people. They're full, they've got data centers and closets full of servers, and they just literally have heard this cloud buzzword and want to know what to do and how to do it. And I think the talk I'm doing next week is around CAF, and I've really got to get rid of that message, in fact. So on CAF, it's really about, it's like a subset of tooling that Microsoft have put together off the back of various customers and partners, where it's not necessarily just a best practice set of documents. It's like a framework that's set up really to try and help guide customers through the whole process of how to understand, how do you sell the cloud to your senior teams? How do you make it cost effective? How do you understand what your motivations are? So it's really just a set of really good documentation, best practices. Like I say, they've been gleaned from various partners and Microsoft themselves in dealing with customers over the years. And there's a set of tools in there as well. And, really it's about this phased approach. No matter where you are in your journey, it's about being able to jump in at a certain point and have some really good guidance if you're stuck, or if you're out of ideas, you're hitting some blockers and you're thinking, right, I really can't sell this to my, chief financial officer, what can I do? So there's a set of tooling, spreadsheets, things that you can run through, questions you can answer, and kind of point you in the right direction. And that's what I'm going to talk about, really take you through all the phases and what tooling is there. And one of the really exciting parts for me that I've really looked at quite recently, I think it's Microsoft starting to talk about it now, is really this concept of, I don't know if you've heard of it, Liam, it's an enterprise scale landing zone. So really it's about getting your footprint in Azure, a little landing zone, somewhere to make sure that you've got everything nice and neat and tidy, that you can just start loading services into Azure. Well, enterprise scale now, they've got this concept of AZ Ops, where they're actually able to, you can deploy enterprise scale through a set of ARM templates, and then use this concept of AZ Ops and GitHub Actions to keep your Azure policies in check, and really kind of go down that whole DevOps mindset and mentality with your policy, your guardrails in Azure. So I'm hoping, if time works well, to give a couple of demos around that as well at the talk. So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I've got a couple of questions around that. So the cloud adoption framework, now, is that also based around or following the same sort of principles as, I can't remember for the life of me, which is really bad, because I work with Azure every day as well. If Microsoft have one, but for AWS, there's the well architected framework as well. Does it build on those sort of principles and that kind of thing too?
Yes, no. I think the well architected framework is a separate set of documentation, if you like, that really drill down into really, how do you secure up your applications appropriately? Really looking at things like security and the other modes of architecting Azure solutions. But I suppose the well-architected framework for me is more of an in-depth thing that you could use to make sure that whatever the solution is you're developing and designing into Azure, you've got all your bases covered. You're not just going in and throwing VMs, then you've got your governance and things like that. And I think the CAF, so the Cloud Adoption Framework, is more of a high-level set of things that you might want to run through. So there's toolings in there. Basically, there's a series of questions like if say you're worried about governance, you don't really know where to start with governance and what it means. In reality terms, what does that actually mean to my team? What do I need to do? So you can run through like a questionnaire, which I'll show on the talk next week briefly, just so you can see. But it gives you like a subset of questions, really asks you about your business, where you are, what your priorities are. Do you have any kind of regulatory compliancy that you need to adhere to? If so, what? All that kind of stuff. And it kind of spits out this nice sort of RAG status list at the end. So really gives you a good picture of the areas that you're strong in as a business and the areas that you might need to do a little bit more work in. So it helps guide you, and then it'll give you a set of tasks, really pointers to go and read this article, have a read of that. There's some spreadsheets in there. There might be another little questionnaire. and that should get you on the right track to really get your organization geared up, ready to do what you want to do. So yeah, so the well-architected framework for me is more the technical side, with how you do your solutions. The CAF is more the business-orientated side. So
Right,
just
I'm with you. Yeah.
to the wider business, making sure you've got your teams together, make sure your skills readiness is all in check and things like that.
But
So
I
yeah,
mean, if someone's moving into Azure right now, like uh, CAF sets up a good sort of starting point, right? For or like say all those best practices and stuff like that. But for somebody to onboard into Azure to start working with it and that kind of thing, they don't have to use CAF, do they? They can just they can go and do it of their own accord if they wanted to, right?
Absolutely. I think that the beauty of CAF is that it isn't a prescriptive, you must do X, Y, Z. It's a set of resources. And like I say, so I deal with lots of different customers. So I don't work for just one company. So with my role, I'll go in and speak to one business. And like I say, they may be really mature. They may be struggling with one element. And it's my job to kind of help mold and shape what that piece of work might look like. I can go into the next customer and they may, like I say, they may not have the first clue where to start on the actual journey. So CAF is it's a bit like a Swiss Army knife of best practice documents and tooling and basically things that will nudge a company or an organization in the right direction, basically to make sure that they've got that good kind of warm, fuzzy feeling that they're doing the right thing. And they've not just, the CFO's put his credit card into Azure and they've got a couple of subscriptions and, some developer thinks it's great to spin up 50 clusters in an evening and start burning through credit. Like there's, it's really to make sure that organizations are really geared up to consuming Azure in the most kind of, constructive and reliable way, I guess.
I guess I would expect. I mean, it's a massive assumption, but from your end, you'll have been through the same sort of things where I have, where you'll be doing stuff with organizations where they don't have anything to start with, and you've got to build that up from the ground up, and that's building stuff out like best practice documents, doing architectures for them that make sense for them. But basically, the my understanding of CAF is like it's a starter for 10 or a cheat's way to get into it, but it gives you like this starter kit, really.
That's pretty much it. I mean, it's kind of phased in these buckets. I mean, the main concept is you define what your strategy is. So as a business, yes, you've heard this term cloud. What does it mean to your business? Are you looking to, what's your motivation? What are you looking to actually do? Are you trying to get out of an incumbent data center just to save money because, I don't know, that it's costing too much or it might not give you a specific service, or are you looking to do something, innovative with your business? So you're looking to develop applications. So first off, you have a strategy, then they take you through the core phases of CAF, which are kind of their plan, ready, and adopt. So plan, as you might work out, is really to look at all of your existing digital estate. So looking at your VMware clusters, your Hyper-V clusters or physical equipment, doing kind of that initial analysis, which may be, if they're a small organization with a small set of servers, it may be a quick review of a CSV file, a spreadsheet, something like that. If they're larger organizations, then there's tooling out there. So it's about setting up things like Azure Migrate, doing some analysis of the environment, getting that list of what do you currently have, what can easily be lifted and shifted if you wanted to straight into Azure. Then, it's kind of part of my job then is to really look at that after you do that analysis of your environment and work out, well, look, okay, what are your motivations? Why would you want to lift and shift stuff into Azure? What do you want to refactor? And they call it the 5 R's. So there's kind of, I'll probably forget them all now, but there's refactor, re-architect. I've forgotten them straight off. But the point is, one of them that they never put in there is remove, because a couple of customers I've had have just had so much server sprawl. They don't realize that one of the good things to do is actually go and remove a lot of the infrastructure that you might have in your organization. But there's 5 R's: is plan it, understand what you want to do, what do you actually need to do, and then you move. There's things like making sure that you're a big part of it is to make sure that your organization has got the appropriate skills to kind of feed and water and manage your Azure infrastructure going forward. And And then you move into the ready phase. So the ready phase is really all about just understanding what does your organization need. Things like looking at the landing zone. We're going to go hub and spoke. Are we going to have small landing zone just to keep all your infrastructure in one subscription? What is it? What makes the most sense? So, like I say, one of the interesting things that comes out of the ready phase is where enterprise scale and the landing zones fit in. So, in line with where the industry has been going over the last few years with the DevOps mentality and mindset, it's quite interesting to see where they're going at the moment with that whole enterprise scale piece. So, so once you've done ready and you've got yourself set up ready to go, then it's basically the next phase is adopt. So what do you need to do? You actually have to action the plan that you made in the plan phase. Yeah. So it's about having a consistent approach. And then I think the last two phases you've got really are around how you manage and you govern your Azure environment afterwards. So things like, what are the guide rails you need to put in place and why? So, you want to stop a team of devs going off and spinning up certain size VMs just willy-nilly. They need to be controlled using RBAC. So you can put policy in place to kind of control those things and lots of other stuff within Azure. So it's, like I say, if you've got any gaps in the knowledge as an organization, it's a brilliant set of tools and resources just to jump into one of the appropriate phases. And yeah, like I say, it'll just nudge you in the right direction. So yeah, hopefully I'll use my slides next week and talk through it in a bit more detail.
If you are interested in hearing more about John's talk and actually attending John's talk, if you go to Twitter and look for @DevOps Notts, you'll be able to get to the meetup page and everything there. It's actually a meetup that I co-run with one of my podcast hosts, Misha Bell. We've been doing it for just over a year now, and everybody's welcome. We have a Zoom end of things. We'll also broadcast to YouTube as well. So for those who aren't that keen on joining the Zoom end, you can get yourself over to the YouTube end of things and watch it there too. So just before we kind of get into the game bit, John, there was something you said that a little earlier in the conversation around GitHub and the Azure policy stuff. Now, we know that GitHub's like a really powerful tool, but there are a lot of organizations out there still that are heavily invested in the Azure DevOps side of things. Does that mean that, if they wanted to use it from a policy management point of view, they'd have to invest in GitHub and use the GitHub actions, or are they transferable for Azure DevOps orgs as well?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know the answer off the top of my head. I think the whole concept around AZ Ops is that it's built it's going to be honed in a single repository. So the general concept of it, and I'm not sure if there is actually a portability into Azure DevOps into repos, but GitHub Actions, it's based on the concept of you've deployed your enterprise scale landing zones and you kind of do a pull out of your Azure environment. So, a single tenant with multiple subscriptions attached. You'll pull all of that, and all of that pull information is stored in the same repository under a folder called AZ Ops. So it basically lists out all of your policy definitions and your assignments that you might have across the various management groups. And you kind of use, the way that it works is that it'll trigger the push request back into Azure via just a GitHub action workflow, basically, and it's based on a pull request. So I'm not sure that it's actually there. It's portable. It's a good question. I might try and find out, actually.
I think you can definitely use a GitHub repo source in Azure DevOps, but the actions you'd have to transfer. You'd have to either roll your own, I think, of Azure DevOps. This is generally speaking, not necessarily for CAF, but the experience that I've had with it is you'd have to make an Azure DevOps flavor of an action to make it work. But I would expect Microsoft to support both to an extent, and if they don't already, probably soon. It's probably worth asking if anybody from Microsoft is watching this and has that sort of insight. Obviously, let us know on Twitter, and we can let folks know about that. And in terms of that, if anybody's watching who has any questions along the way as well, just drop them into the chat in Twitch as well, and John and myself will do our best to answer them as we go. Right, Mr. Lunn.
I'm going to fire it, have I?
I'm going to fire it up mine as well.
Yeah, on that note about the GitHub Actions, I know they store them all as YAML in the repo as well, so they're all in there.
I think the thing. So when you're so you can create a task template, so to speak, in Azure DevOps, but it works in basically a similar way. So you can say, point me at this repo, point me at this branch, and I want to import these Azure DevOps templates into my pipeline. But you can't use the same code that you've written for Azure, GitHub Actions in Azure DevOps, and vice versa. Or even though, as far as I'm aware from having a couple of conversations with folks, that the underlying technology is basically the same. Like all the GitHub Action stuff sits on the same infra, I think.
It's just interesting to see what's going on. Like you say, everybody is going down the Azure DevOps road at the moment. From lots of customers that I speak to are all looking to do that. Really not kind of disperse their tooling too bad, and Azure DevOps kind of ticks a lot of boxes, especially for those organizations on the ops side. So I think it's a valid point, because they seem to be investing quite heavily in GitHub, and you'd hope that the same.
I mean, it's a really good tool overall. Like I mean, we don't use it in my day job so much, but for everything that we do for Azureish and a lot of my personal projects, GitHub is my go-to, because it's so powerful these days, and we can do so much with it, that it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's just it's there, isn't it? Everybody's got a GitHub account. You just spin something up. And you've got it. I suppose one way of looking at it with AZ Ops for now is, if you do use Azure repo, then there's nothing stopping you cloning it into Azure repo to do your changes, and then create the pull request over into GitHub. But I think at the minute you're potentially still going to need that GitHub repo for the GitHub Actions to work.
Yeah, for sure. Right, I've just chucked you the code for the game. Once you're in, I will open it up to the world. In fact, I don't know how you feel about this, John, but how do you feel about us maybe opening the game up and showing it on the stream, and having some of our viewers come join us as well, maybe?
Why not?
Cool. So I'll wait till you're in, just in case.
Yeah, it's kind of stalled on me now. I've got a black screen. It's saying I'm getting in. Hang on. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of hanging on me there. Let me try again. I won't read it out.
There you are. Cool. So let's open that up. Switch to the game screen. Actually, make sure that my sound is coming through for the game. Is that the right one?
Oof.
There we go. We'll do that. And we'll get a few people in, and then once we're at about 8, we'll get going. In fact, folks, if you want to come join us, please feel free to use the code at the bottom of the screen. We're going to play for about the next half hour or so, and hopefully make it look like we know what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm not very good at this game. I should have texted to my daughter. She could have come on and whipped all our backsides.
Do it. Get to come in on the next one.
Right. Okay, here we go. So what's the week been like with you then, Liam? You been up to anything exciting?
Well, it's only Wednesday. At the moment, a lot of it is kind of more on the management side at the minute. I've not done that much hands-on this week. Been doing a few bits in terms of Kubernetes this week, and sort of a sort of transformation around that and how to make that go faster ultimately, in terms of delivery. But I'm actually gearing up to do a lot of recruitment in terms of work wise, growing the systems engineering side of things where I work by a significant number of people at the moment. So if
Yeah.
if people are interested in becoming a cloud systems engineer or site reliability engineer, you can join myself and the rest of my and it sounds really 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 dicky when I say this, but our award-winning team.
The award-winning team, yeah.
Yeah, over at MMT Digital, and we do a lot of work with all sorts of people. So yeah, if you're interested in that, currently we're looking at for people who sort of mid-level engineers and senior engineers with AWS experience in this instance, and we've got some Azure vacancies as well, I believe. So yeah, if people are interested in coming and doing that, give me a shout, let me know. But
Cool.
other than that, it's been really more focusing on the Azureish as a, well, I guess the best way to describe it is as a TV channel side of things. Yeah, like we said at the top of the show, Derek, who's been on this show a few times now, he's moving his DevOps Derek weekly show to our channel in the new year, which is going to be great. And then it's largely been sort of what's the word? Being disheartened that I've not managed to pre-order either an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5 as they were gonna.
Yeah. They're few and far between now, are you?
Well, it's the same, like I wanted to. I was looking at what you call it, the new AMD graphics card as well, because all the Nvidia ones are still as rare as rocking horse shit. And they sold out in 15 minutes as well this morning. So
Oh, so what did they? Were the AMD? What are they? Radeon? Are they the Radeon ones?
yeah, there's like the six. I can't remember if it's like the 68000 XT now, and it's
I bought one of
I'm having to concentrate with this reactor start thing.
Dead body reported. Here we go. Well, I see nothing.
No, I've not seen anything.
Read me, please.
They're they've already left. I'm assuming because they wanted to be read, and I was.
Oh.
Yeah, I've not seen anything. I'm down in reactor at the moment.
No, I didn't see anything. Who reported it? Stupid eye, the yellow guy.
Oh,
He's
good.
the one saying where, so it must have been him. I reckon it's yellow.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
I get good at this game. I can just guess somebody.
I think there's an update coming to this as well, so that if people leave games, they're not able to join for another 5 minutes again.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, what a guess! Brilliant, we did it.
Victory.
Cool. Let's go into play again. If you want to chuck the code over to your daughter, now would be the time.
I'll send it over to her now. See if. Cool. There we are. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, I've kind of never really well, for years now I've not really done much gaming, and I used to be quite hot into it back. Well, Christ, how old am I now? About 15 years ago. But every time I buy a console now, my son tends to have it. So
Like I enjoy video games generally. It's kind of my wind down.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's like anything though, isn't it? I think sometimes if you spend too much time, you end up trying to work out, hang on, where did my week go?
yeah, like I don't do anything to the level I used to. Like I used to be
Oh,
doing the whole World of Warcraft and everything else, and it was like another job.
yeah, no, exactly. I think there was a phase I went through quite a while back where I would play. I think actually it was, I'll tell you the game was Burnout Paradise
Oh
on
yeah,
uh, on Xbox, um, Xbox One. What was that? That must have been that's at least 10 years ago. Like, that was the one game that I kind of sweated into the night, you know.
I used to play a lot of MMOs and that sort of thing. Now, admittedly, it's largely this for the stream. What I would like to do is maybe in a few shows' time, mix it up a bit as well, and play something like Sea of Thieves all together. That'd be cool.
Okay, yeah.
Or run a pirate ship.
No, it's a good concept with this Azureish Live. I think, like you say, it's finding that balance with tech chat, and gaming. It's a skill to have, I think, isn't it? Being able to speak and play a game at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm sort of okay at it on account of I don't really ever shut up.
No, well, that's one thing I've been trying to gear up for now, is to start putting a bit of content out there, do a bit more on YouTube, and
Well, I've got a channel schedule to fill, John.
yeah. I think it's just finding the concept, isn't it? And
Yeah, I think that's the thing though, isn't it? It's finding the things that um it's finding the things that people want to watch and stuff like that. You know, I know like this evening we don't have any viewers this evening, but and it varies week on week, and the amount of effort you have to put into pushing things, and like pushing it through social media and putting
yeah,
up. I guess the enough info in advance to get people interested as well. It's a tough thing, but sticking to a regular schedule as well, I believe, helps.
yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's why I've kind of not really started anything just yet, because you know, I mean, I've just moved into a new office and got myself set up with a new PC and whatnot, so I'm just having a bit of fun playing about with all the stuff at the minute, you know. So I think once I can get round to finding my little niche.
Would you be looking to do more of like a pre-recorded thing, or
I don't know, to be honest. I think I'll probably, I'm going to, part of this for me, because I'm, you know, you know what I'm like on Twitter. If you've been following my tweets, I've been doing quite
you're
a
like me,
lot
you
of,
don't really stop.
well, yeah. And yeah. And I suppose it's one of those things I struggle with, is that, like, doing the kind of jobs that we do, you kind of put down the knowledge that you have all the time and say, oh, well, you know, everybody knows that. I think it's taken me a little while to kind of work out that actually, no, not everybody does know that. And, you know, that whole concept of just giving back at whatever level, you know, there are people that kind of will benefit.
Yeah, like
You know,
I agree. You know, it's one of those things where I think as long as you've got knowledge to share, people are always going to be interested. I've already got the fuel.
yeah. But I guess it still doesn't help when you're trying, like you say, you're trying to do a channel or trying to fill something with some good, because I don't want to just go on a video and just talk about nothing. Do you know what I mean? And something and nothing, and not really have it well structured and
Yeah.
I have that story and what is the point? What am I trying to say? Do you know what I mean? I know I've got lots to say, but it's just finding the time to kind of shape it into a coherent story, I suppose, is what I'm struggling with at the moment. It's just purely a time thing.
Yeah, I mean, I find it easier to do stuff like this where it's kind of a loose
Yeah.
form, because like I've got a blog and everything, but I find it so hard to one, find the motivation to write something, but two, really write something that someone's going to care about. But what I started to do was I started to write stuff down for me to remember instead.
Yeah.
But it is still very much I'm more comfortable doing this kind of thing.
I know. When I was thinking about, because I've kind of had this little plan in my mind, kind of since COVID. It started off buying an audio interface for my daughter. Yeah, so it started off with she wants to record, she wants to do a bit of singing.
Yeah.
So I went out and just bought a little Scarlett, 4x4 little audio interface and a mic off Amazon. And I sat and I thought, oh, I'm going to be sat at home for a while now. Maybe it's a chance to kind of get myself a nice little setup. So it just went into a complete meltdown. So,
We lost. I just got killed.
But yeah, I kind of went off and started buying various bits and pieces. And then I thought, well, actually, I'm working from home and my working conditions weren't brilliant. It was literally the small little desk in the corner of the bedroom and, turn background blur on every meeting you join and that kind of thing. And so I thought, right, I'll get a little office sorted and really try and make a go of it, And I thought, well, maybe I'll use this as an opportunity to kind of do a little bit more. I've always fancied doing something kind of community focused.
Yeah.
And if you look at my blog, you'll see when I started it up. The blog was set up, I don't know, probably about 6, 7, 8 years ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago. I think that might be my daughter there, Jessica. Might be, or it might be some random person called Jessica. So we'll see. I don't know. I'll stand over here if she comes over to me. No, it probably is some random person. But yeah, so I kind of just had this idea to, I haven't built a PC in a while, so I went on Amazon and started buying bits and thought that'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw on Twitter that as you built it.
So the learning curve of literally seeing what the latest components were and what worked with what, I was like, oh, here we go. I haven't done this for so long. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was quite interesting. And then at 2 o'clock in the morning, when you're trying to just throw it all together in the living room, you realize that your motherboard is not posting. You're like, for God's sake.
Yeah, I mean, what you call it? It's like I've not built a PC for a long time. Like right now, what I'm doing is I've got a Razer Blade laptop, that I'm running from, but I've got their like the Razer Core X external GPU, and then I've got an RTX 2080 sat in that instead.
Yeah, well, that's what on this is a 2080 Super.
Yeah, I mean, I should have paid more attention to the stuff that's coming out when I bought this because it came out like 6 weeks later.
Well, people were saying to me, "Are you not going to hang around for the 3080?" And it's like, well, no. You know what I mean? It depends what you want to do with it. So I thought, if you're doing a bit of streaming, I mean, as it happened, my boy wanted a PC. He wanted, oh, Dad, can you get me a PC? I want to do streaming. I thought, oh, and my daughter with a thing. I thought maybe I can make a multi-use office space. So that's what I'm in now. Like, this is my office in the day, and then the kids also get a bit of use out of it with, the recording, and my boy streams on Twitch as well. So he wants to be affiliate, and he wants, like, whatever, go for it, mate. So yeah, I think I just back to the public facing thing. I thought, well, if I start blogging about it, I know a little bit around Azure, but plus, I mean, one of the big things for me as well is, I don't know how you find it, but the whole concept of how, we know everything's fast paced changing, and how do you keep up in your own career, in your own job?
Yeah,
so
sure.
Part of it was I stumbled across that 100 Days of Cloud challenge. So that's what I've been doing. That kind of, in my head, I thought, that'll be a good incentive for me to kind of not and give up. Do you know what I mean? But if
Yeah,
I,
and I think that's the thing. Like that, I've seen that you've been doing it. I've been considering doing it myself. That was quick.
yeah, yeah, and I think, oh, there we go. Somebody's dead. Yeah, and do you know what? It's like anything. It's quite white, not me. Oh, you go, Sue. I'm in suspense now. Looks like I'm going to get
Oh,
moved.
I don't know. I don't know about you. That's somewhat sus.
What's that?
Game. No, it's not me. It's you.
No, never.
No. It's like going, your mum.
No, no, it's not me. Please don't vote me out. See,
If
so
this is
say.
like your first time being imposter as well, you're voted out straight away. This will be
Oh, man,
brilliant. Because
I
after
don't know.
last time when you died so quickly.
Well, the thing is, it's this whole talking thing and trying to actually. Am I going to be kicked out? Kiki doesn't seem to know who to vote for. Oh,
Oh, I think you're out.
bugger. Yeah, it was kind of like I didn't really mean to kill that guy either.
Ah, it's all right.
I
It's
did kill
easily
it.
done though, as well. If you click the wrong button too quickly,
I thought I'll kill him just as somebody else ran past.
it always happens. Or last time, I think the last kill I got before we wrapped up, um, I sabotaged lights,
Yeah.
and then sabotaged lights, and Jonathan just ran past in the dark, and I got him there and then, just as my last kill, and won
Yeah.
that way.
I think that is my daughter there with a chef's hat on in purple.
Yeah, she said you was watching. She was watching your stream in another one, in another game.
Oh, was she? Yeah, her favorite color is purple, and she wants to be a chef. So kind of, I think that
Fair.
might. I don't know what gives it away. Yeah, what was I saying? That 100 days of cloud challenge. It's. I mean, to be honest, I didn't know what to make of anything at the end of the day, so I thought I'll give it a go. And straight away, there's so many people out there in the like the 100 days, of cloud challenge and
Yeah.
community. I mean, it's just that you don't realize the emphasis that having like support just from complete strangers fundamentally, and it kind of keeps you going.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I like about the community that we're in, and I find it more with I guess the cloud and the DevOps and the agile communities really, that there's less kind of elitism around it. There's less ego. People are more willing to chat through it and talk and that kind of thing. When I used to be a developer, the sort of stuff that we're doing now, we started talking on Twitter, and we said let's go do this and see what happens. And I know we talked some tech things as well. I find it's a lot easier to approach people with this kind of thing in this arena.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's just my personal experience, but it feels like that's fairly common.
yeah. It's like you said earlier. It's knowing what to put out there and kind of what should it look like. And I guess don't get me wrong. Some of the blog posts I'm putting out there, like you. Sometimes I thought, well, shall I just write things down for me to just kind of
Yeah,
make myself remember things, or that one little thing that you do is like pretty cool, and then you completely forget how you've done it. And I thought, yeah, okay, could do that, but I think for me, a lot of what I've seen with the blog, so in the short time I've kind of given it the emphasis. A lot of a lot of the traction with the blog comes from people just finding you on Google. I think from my blog and doing keyword searches and
Yeah.
finding your content useful, But yeah, I still don't know if my content's useful yet or not. I'm still trying to find my feet, I think. Oof.
I think anybody. I think anybody could find that info useful once it's written down. I mean, somebody at some point will be starting from scratch, right? It doesn't. Not everybody needs to go to Scott Hanselman. Not everyone needs to go to um, Scott Guthrie or anybody like that, because it's all stuff that people will want to learn and that kind of thing, and people do learn stuff in different ways as well. I think I quite like skimming blog posts and that kind of thing. I know other people find it a lot easier with video. So there's lots of different ways to consume content that I guess neither of us really had when we started out in these fields.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
I remember buying like all the O'Reilly books and then skimming through those instead, or go through the index at the back. Stack Overflow wasn't really a thing. I think the best hope you had was using something like Experts Exchange back then.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the website that you would tell you the answer, but then make it fuzzy unless you paid for it.
Yeah, but then if you scrolled further down, the answers were there anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right now, and then you scroll down a bit further, and yeah, brilliant, that one. Green vented.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll vote green. I'm okay with that.
Okay, in nav. So yeah, I think for me, it's just finding my mojo on it. I mean, like I said, I suppose I've been so active with work for such a long time. It's like I must have something to give back. Do you know what I mean? So,
for sure. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of why I started the meetup, right? It was the community has given me so much of my own learning over the past 16 years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That I wanted to give something back, and a little selfish part of me, and it's again the same reasons I do this, is I want to talk to people. I want to listen to people speak, who already talk about topics and everything that really interest me. And the easiest way to go about that, in my mind, is if there's not already a thing out there for you, just go and start that thing yourself.
Yeah. And you know what? That's pretty much where obviously I live in South Wales, so believe me, there's not a lot going around South Wales on Microsoft. I mean, before COVID, I was running up and down the motorways, as I'm sure a lot of people were in our sort of industry. But I thought, well, let's just see if I can find some. So there are a few meetup groups, but none that were specifically for what I was kind of looking to do. So I thought I'll try and start my own up. And then I got pulled into another group of people by a few people from Microsoft. And that's where the Welsh Azure user group was born from, if you like. So,
Yeah.
And that's, I find that really good fun. I know it's, it takes a bit of work, with the organization, but there's a team of us in there now. We've got some good support from Microsoft, good support from our sponsors. And it's good fun. So, that was almost, like you say, one outlet where you can kind of find the interesting topics and great speakers and get them. Okay, it's a virtual event for everybody at the moment, but hopefully before long we'll be able to go back to the face-to-face style meetups. And
yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the really good things about everything being remote at the moment is that expansion of people who can come and talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like yourself, I'm sure in under other circumstances, it understandably, it was a lot harder for you to get up to Nottingham to come and speak for half hour, 45 minutes, and then do that long drive back again. That's not fair to ask of somebody. No. Same as earlier this year, we were lucky enough to have Gene Kim come speak at DevOps Notts, all the way from the US, and that's not something that we would have been able to do otherwise. And I guess it's the same with this as well. Like last week when we had Ryan and Michael on, who are based in the US.
Yeah.
It's a truly global community.
Yeah, you're right, and I think that's. Oh, look at that! I'm being voted up by my own daughter.
Yeah, of course you would.
Mike was following me. Yeah, well done, Piku. You stick up for me. Somebody needs to. Yeah, and that I suppose I never really got into the involvement of organising meetups so much when pre-COVID. So this whole virtual thing and arranging is my first attempt at it, if you know what I mean. So it's I've been voted out. If I
No, I think you're tied with Skip, so you're still in.
Still there. So yeah, I think when it comes back to face, that's going to be an interesting turn of events, I suppose.
I mean, next month you've got some pretty awesome speakers from the Microsoft community as well, from across the pond.
And April Edwards, I think that's like I say,
that's incredible.
Can you tell that I'm excited by that one? Does it show? It's like I mean, literally, it was like I had a chat with the guys in the group, and I said it would be brilliant if we could get something like Abel. And I'd seen a couple of April's talks not long before there, and they kind of. So can you imagine if we could get Abel? And what happened? It was quite strange because a colleague of mine tagged me in something on one of April's talks, as it was, on LinkedIn, and I was literally talking about it the night before. And it was just it had to be because my colleague, I think, tagged me in a post of April's, and I didn't say anything, and April had replied on there, John, if you need any assistance, give me a shout. And I was like, what? Really? As it happened, April, I was talking about you the night before, So yeah. Literally, Abel kind of replied really quickly. I was gobsmacked with, the speed he came back to me and said, yeah, love to support the group and get involved, which was brilliant.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's like the number of people that you can get, to notice your communities and your meetups just by Twitter, because it's such a strong tool for this sort of thing as well. Is ridiculous. Like the way Gene came about is like we'd actually pre-ordered a copy of the Unicorn project to give away at DevOps Notts. And there was a massive cock up at Amazon and stuff like that, and then I don't think they shipped any copies when it came out. And I happened to notice that he'd tweeted saying, "Really sorry about this, but we've heard about this in the UK and stuff." And I dropped a cheeky tweet going, "Yeah, we've had that problem as well. It'd be really awesome if you could make it up to us by coming to talk."
Yeah. Just come and jump back in and give us a talk then. Yeah. I think that's the brilliant thing, though, isn't it? That's I mean, funny enough. I mean, back August, my wife, I had an Amazon wish list full of books that I wanted to buy, and my wife just went and bought the lot. So I ended up getting about 12 books delivered for my birthday, and I started reading them. And as I was reading them, I was blogging about them and kind of just tweeting the authors, like just with a stupid face of mine holding their book up. And yeah, the amount that they'll reply back to you as all, authors, and obviously they're glad that you're reading their book and doing stuff.
Oh, for sure, yeah, and that's the thing. And there's such a wealth of information out there, and people are so happy to come and talk about it as well, and converse with people. It's, again, like I say, it's such a great worldwide community with all of this stuff. You can see why stuff like the DevOps movement is so popular, because everybody wants to foster that learning. Everybody wants to have those conversations about things, and why the cloud adoption has gone so well, because there's so much wealth. Such a vast wealth of information out there, and people willing to talk about it and have those conversations as well, without feeling like it's a massive pressure, or without you charging for it effectively.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think that's that's definitely a turn up of events over the last few months, isn't it? Is that everybody's kind of had a similar kind of idea in terms of what can they do with their time, you know, and a lot more people are doing this kind of thing as well. So, oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Well, why not? Why not? I can't report myself, can I?
No.
You're there laughing under your breath. Yeah, it's all you know. I keep joking.
Wasn't there? I can't remember. I think it was yourself on Twitter. I don't remember what it was that you're doing, but didn't you have Satya Nadella join a Teams call at one point?
I got on. I was on with a few guys from Microsoft on one of the open hacks that Microsoft do.
Yeah.
So I was on the DevOps one. So obviously, I've been doing a bit of DevOps on and off for a little while and studying for the AZ 400 exam, and I just got the chance to join open hack. I thought, oh, go on, may as well. And they kept saying, oh, it's a special guest will be joining us, and you know, literally, I think we all broke away from our little groups back into the main room, and they said, right, everybody turn your cameras on. You've got to all turn your cameras on. So I think I was just faffing around with my camera at the time. And it popped a little Satya Nadella has just joined the. He's in the lobby. He's like, that's somebody's having a laugh, isn't it? Of course they are, you know, joining a group of people on Microsoft. Yeah, somebody's just having a bit of a laugh. Next thing you know, there he was, and he's like, wow, okay. But he's like straight. Well, as soon as I saw that, literally the phone was on. You know, start video recording it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think because my face, my ugly mug, ended up on the main Teams window.
Oh, did it?
Sign a waiver because they were looking to release some. You know, it was like a virtual UK tour he was doing, so he dropped in a number of areas, lots of different groups across the UK. So I think they were putting together a little show reel type thing, but I've not seen anything. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So I got a claim to fame now.
See, yeah, I'm more than happy to vote black.
Go for black.
More than happy.
It's pink. I saw her. No. I think it's black. I don't like the look of his hat.
Didn't I kill you?
No, hang on. No, it was you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I win. There you go.
So long ago, the first one to be killed, it was you.
Yeah. Right, let's get into our final game of the evening.
Indeed.
Folks, if you're watching, feel free to join us. There's the code on the screen. It's OBTZBF. Yeah, come on, come and get involved.
See me get killed first off again.
The what do you call it? The we're working on like a guest list at the moment as well for this show. Over the next few weeks as well. And next week we have got Kayla Cinnamon joining us, who is I think she's program manager. I think is the proper title for Windows Terminal. We've also working well. We were scheduling, but they're up for joining. Isadora, is it Katanich or is it Katanich? I can't remember how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
So she'll be joining us.
Nice.
And Dominique Top as well, so DevOps Dommy.
Okay.
Will be joining us at some point too.
Oh, so you're getting a few good community people into the to Azureish Live. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, it's going to be a really good good way of doing things. Like the feedback from talking to people, even who haven't either seen the show yet, but how we described it, they said it sounds great as well. So, folks who are watching, obviously, please help us get the word out there about the show and get people involved. And obviously, feel free to get involved in the chat as well, and anything that you might want to share with us here on Twitch. But feel free to tweet stuff out about the show. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is linked at the bottom of the screen, or follow us on Twitter, which is also at the bottom of the screen. Right, final game.
Final game. Who's first to get killed then?
Well, we've already had somebody leave. I mean, that's kind of why I like last show when we had everybody in the same game.
Yeah, because people.
Yeah, it was private and it was a lot easier. And people just leave because they're not the imposter, which is ridiculous. Yeah. What's that button do? Oh shit.
I'll try and concentrate on this one now, see if I can actually do something.
Yeah, I'm trying to concentrate on this. So when you start the reactor, it's like a Simon thing.
Okay.
And it's only 5, but when you're talking to people as well, where are we gonna go? Okay. Where do I need to go? Oh, no. Finally. Admin card first time. Happy with that.
Yeah, it only takes me a couple.
I find that one's the easiest one to do on the phone rather than with a mouse.
Yeah. Pink is hanging around for me.
Another game I thought that might be quite good for this is Fall Guys.
I don't know it. What is it? Fall Guys?
Fall Guys, yeah. It's a bit like, do you remember like It's a Knockout and Wipeout and that kind of thing?
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of like that, but crossed with, I guess, like the Battle Royale game genre type thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I suppose it's finding those games that are kind of team or, multiple players and are a bit like this, isn't it? Where
Pink is following me.
Yeah, Pink was hanging around me a bit earlier. In sus.
I need to stop following him now. Oh no, I've spoken too soon. Oh. Interestingly, I haven't seen any dead bodies.
No. I've got to go for this now. Where's the arrow pointing at?
I'm in electrical at the moment, just downloading data.
I'm running towards the arrow. I don't know how far away I am.
I might be a bit too far to make it in 10 seconds.
Oof.
That was close. Where do I need to go? Yeah, I've not seen a single...
Oh, nobody seems to be killing anybody.
Just give it a thorough look. Oh, I meant to ask you, John. You know the thing that you've got on your desk underneath your monitor that shows like your tweets and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, the metric time.
What is it?
It's basically a gadget with a dot matrix style bunch of LEDs display that you can kind of you download apps. It's called a Lumetric Time.
Oh, okay.
They're not the cheapest of things, but they're cool little. Well, you can see, you can stick your Twitter followers on there. You can put your YouTube thing. You can put Twitch on there. You know, when you're live on Twitch, it'll pop up and say whatever you want it to say. And
Oh, that's pretty cool.
or it's a clock and it's got speakers. It's Bluetooth. You can play the radio on it, that kind of stuff. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a distinct lack of dead bodies.
There is. I think we're gonna win this.
I've gone through all of it now. I've seen Jess. She's not killed anybody.
There we go. I've done all the tasks now.
Yeah, I've done all mine. We've got a little bit to go. At the end.
What do you do now then?
Well, I guess walk around, try and find who the imposter is.
Oh, emergency.
Oh, she's done it.
Oh. Hello. I think this is just going to be vote.
Yeah. I reckon orange, because I've not really seen them do anything.
Pink was being a bit sus around me to begin with.
Following around though.
Yeah, do tax. Okay, what does tax mean?
Yeah, it was orange because they left the game.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. At least I didn't lose one.
That is true. That is true.
So I end on a victory. That'll do me.
Well, that is bringing us about to the hour mark. As we were a little late starting, I think we've actually probably gone slightly over. But thank you very much, John, for coming on once again. It's always an absolute pleasure to have you on, and it's always fun.
Thank you for having me on, Liam. Pleasure.
As always, you're welcome back anytime. In terms of the overall channel stuff, though, if you are interested in that, obviously drop me a message, and we'll look at what we can do and how that can help you and we can help us and so on as well, and see how we can grow that community.
Yeah, definitely get involved. I think, yeah. I'll give you a shout.
Fantastic. Right, folks. Well, that is us for this week. Next week on the show, we have the fantastic Kayla Cinnamon from Microsoft, who is basically the personification, I guess, of Windows Terminal, would be the best way to describe her. She'll be coming on to talk Windows Terminal and all the stuff they're doing at Microsoft, and come and play a little Among Us as well. Next Tuesday, we also have our main show of Azureish Live coming back at 12:30 p.m. UK time, where Jonathan, Pete, and myself will be continuing our exploration of Blazor, the Azure Signaler service, and function apps as well. And hopefully we'll get something working this time and deploying into I can't remember what it's called now, the static web app preview. So once again, thank you very much, John, for coming along. Really looking forward to having you on that Tuesday as well in the evening at 6:30 p.m. at DevOps Notts. So that's not a show here on the channel, but it is something that maybe we should do as a show on the channel. I don't know. The more I think about it, maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah. No, looking forward to it, Liam. Yeah, should be good.
Cool. So thanks for watching, folks, and we'll see you again next time.
Cheers.